What's up, people? I'm Erica, and this is Cocktails and Capitalism, a podcast that pairs crafted beverages with stories distilled from our capitalist hellscape. Today we're joined by Shere Dore, a homeless advocate in Houston who has been working to feed the homeless since 2011. She is a devoted member of Food Not Bombs, a movement composed of volunteers who come together in cities across the country and beyond to provide food for the homeless. Shere has been rewarded for her incredibly important work with 7 tickets from the city of Houston since March 1st. Scratch that. Just today, on May 1st, Shere received her 8th ticket for feeding the homeless in Houston. Collectively, the volunteers in Houston Food Not Bombs have received 21 tickets for feeding homeless folks outside the public library. I'm very grateful that Shere could join us today to help me shine light on this horrible injustice. How you doing, Shere?
Great. How are you doing?
Doing really good. It's kind of early in my day because I wake up late usually, but I'm really excited to talk with you about all of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. For the cocktail pairing for this episode, it's going to be the same cocktail that we made for our episode on mutual aid called the Mutual Lemonade, which is made with lemon, granulated sugar, and cardamom for like a real special kind of taste to it. So, and with the rinds of the lemon to give it that extra zest. But I'll add that recipe in the show notes. So Shere, could you tell me a little bit about Food Not Bombs and how it works? Because I think a lot of our listeners are just kind of becoming familiar with what Food Not Bombs is.
So Food Not Bombs is an international anti-war food sharing group, a group of individuals who come together to serve either once a month or one night a week. And in our case, we serve 4 nights a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 7:30 p.m. outside the downtown library. And then Houston's Food Not Bombs has been serving Houston's homeless and hungry, because we get a lot of people that get housing or who have homes and still need to eat. But they've been serving since 1994. And I myself has been joined in with Food Not Bombs Houston since 2011. And what I really like about this group is that it's a non-hierarchical structure. We're not a nonprofit group. So everything is consensus-based, and, you know, it's respect of the majority in regards to what it is that we do. And then most of all, we serve hot vegetarian-style food those 4 nights a week. And that's a big deal, especially out when you're serving a lot of the homeless, is because a lot of other entities tend to serve, you know, the basic beans, rice, to, you know, where we're serving vegetables, fruits, salads, stuff that they don't get a hold of as frequently as they should for their health and all of that. So I couldn't have worked with a better group than Food Not Bombs Houston.
Cheers to that. That is freaking amazing.
Absolutely.
And can you explain for listeners, like, how is this funded?
Well, right now we get food donations from Whole Foods. I believe it's 3 to 4 times a week.
Awesome.
So we have volunteers, and it's a lot of work, a lot of food, that vegetables, stuff like that they give to us. And so they're the majority of our fruits and vegetables that we're able to attain, go home, cook, and then bring it back out for the food sharing. And let me tell you again, Houston is really, really big. So the Whole Foods that we go to is centralized, and then people go all the way back out to their houses and cook, and then come all the way back downtown and bring the food. So, you know, these people that are involved in doing this, they're very, very committed. One of our volunteers cooks with her whole family. Almost, I think she gets one weekend off a month, but the other 3 Sundays, she and her family cook together, and all day long, and then they bring the food to us in the evening time. So, yeah, I really commend them. Others that don't cook from the Whole Foods donation will buy the food themselves, cook it, and then bring it out there as well. So a lot of this is on people's own time, their own dime. And that's another reason why I love the group so much, is because they're out there because they want to be. Nobody gets paid for it or anything. And because they really care about serving those in need.
That's so empowering. That's so inspiring to hear about that. And I mean, I think it really shows folks that you can actually take action to solve some of the issues in your communities just directly, without going through an organization, you know, without going through like a formal structure that is like government, you know, approved, you know.
Right.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Yes.
Wow. And then can you talk a little bit about the tickets that you've received up to this point?
Okay, so I'll back up to the anti-food sharing ordinance. Back in 2012, we had Mayor Anise Parker, who was in office. So she and certain members of City Council passed an anti-food sharing ordinance, which says that if you serve more than 5 people, you could be ticketed. We were understanding the tickets to run anywhere from $500 to $2,000, or you could even be arrested. Um, so today we're understanding that the tickets are actually $50 to $2,000. So, but this was passed, I believe, in April 2012, and then in July of 2012 it went into effect. So between April and July, Food Not Bombs had garnered over 33,000 supporters, voters in the Houston area that signed petitions saying that this is not right. You need to reverse the
Wow.
food sharing ordinance. And I believe it's my understanding that we did file a lawsuit. The mayor had 60 days to respond. And I believe on the 59th day, she came back and she put Food Not Bombs on the city's website as having permission to serve the homeless or serve those who are in need outside the library. So
Wow.
we had that. That was a big win for us. So, um,
Amazing.
granted, we weren't requiring the permission, but we're glad that we were placed on the city's website. And then fast forward to March of 2023. So it's our understanding nobody's gotten tickets for it, for serving food out there. The mayor, now we've got Mayor Sylvester Turner, who has been in office. He's actually termed out this year.
Hmm.
He's gone back and forth with Food Not Bombs over the years. He's not been happy about our location. And anytime we've had to stand up or take our stance, he's retreated. So come to March of this year, Final Four was coming to Houston,
Hmm.
is whenever the tickets started, as of March 1st, 2023. And then, of course, Final Four was at the end of March. So originally we thought, okay, so they're doing this because Final Four is coming, which I believe that did play a role just in the timing. They changed the time of the hours of the library, which is, where we serve right outside. You saw that tent cities were being targeted by the city trying to decommission them and move
Hmm.
the homeless around. So, of
Yeah.
course, we weren't surprised that this happened. But yeah, as of March 1st, 2023, Food Not Bombs got their first actual ticket for serving the homeless community.
What does this say about like the purpose of this criminalization? Like, what are they trying to accomplish, especially in relation to the Final Four?
He likes to play volleyball with his responses and why he's doing what he does. Like back in September 2021, he tried to evict Food Not Bombs from serving outside the library, because he did his words were, "We do not want the public and the homeless to collide." And that was very disheartening, as if to say that homeless are not people too.
Yeah.
So those words came back and bit him, and we went to media, and then thankfully we kept our position outside the public library. And I know a lot of people will say, well, why the library? Well, homeless people tend to utilize the library the most, especially in the downtown area where all homeless services are, to
Hmm.
charge their phones, to get out of rainy weather, hot weather, cold
Yeah.
weather, to educate themselves, which is their right.
Yeah.
So and then so for us to be able to utilize the library over there has been really helpful for us. And then let's not forget that it's a publicly funded, tax funded,
Yeah.
public space, right?
Hmm.
So, and then we've been doing this out there forever. So the only person that seems to have an issue with it is Mayor Turner. And we know that we've had issues with the library and the homeless community coming from an executive level from the library. They've not wanted the homeless out there for ABC reasons. Um,
Yeah.
but in any case, so the mayor comes back and uses different excuses. He never mentioned Final Four, but he did say again, we're going to take this library back and we're going to make it family friendly or we're going to make it friendly for families and their children. Well,
Families
if you
with
know anything
money.
about our Houston library is made up, I think, of like 5 or 6 floors, but the teen room is on a certain floor, the children's room is on a certain floor, and you cannot, like, I couldn't even, as a mother, could not go up there into the children's area unless I had a child with me. The
Hmm.
teen area, can't go there unless I had a teen with me. So
Hmm.
they stop you. So for him to utilize excuses and make it seem like the teens and children can't use the library, it's broken up by sections and they couldn't go in there in the first place. So we're like,
Hmm.
okay, that's one of his excuses.
Hmm.
Then he mentioned the trash that we tend to leave behind. Well, We had some videographers come out there and show that we're not the trash problem. And then come to find out, we were learning that I guess whoever was in charge of picking up the trash was purposely missing our location
God.
spots. So it made us look bad, but
Mm-hmm.
we would wait and they would never come. So we got that taken care of, and the cops could see across the street. They never came at nighttime to pick up the trash. So he utilizes different excuses as he goes, and
Yeah.
he's never been able to stick to just one issue. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, here we are going into number 22 ticket tomorrow night on Monday night.
Jesus. What a absolute, like, horrific injustice. Like, when you're just trying to feed folks who need it, when you're supplying, fulfilling a need that the city is not fulfilling,
Yeah.
it's just barbaric. It's awful. And I also think that, like, the fact that it's all happening in relation to Final Four, like often happens in relation to other big events that happen in big
Right.
cities. It's about, like, cleaning it up, making it look aesthetically like, there's no homeless here. There's no problems. We don't have poverty in the city. Just kind of sanitizing the reputation of that
Mhm.
place by trying to erase the existence of these people in these towns. Like, it's horrifying.
Well, he's gone on record saying that he has housed 60% of our homeless population. And so, and then there are other cities that got that word and they're like, wow, oh my God, what'd you do to basically end your homeless problem? And well, if you got 100, 200 people standing outside the library waiting to eat, that doesn't really look good for the mayor. And in
Oh
relation to
God.
saying that he has housed 60, and I can guarantee you he has not.
Yeah.
That's the disconnect between the mayor, and they're going by a homeless coalition that makes millions in federal funding and probably even private funding as well. So, I don't like it, but I see why he was really quick to try to get the homeless away from the downtown area as he did.
Yeah, definitely. I just learned that one volunteer with Houston Food Not Bombs, Benjamin Kraft Rendon, is working with a lawyer to challenge not only the ticket he received, but also the constitutionality of the city's anti-food sharing law. That requires the people to get permission from the city before feeding 5 or more people. So do you know much about this case and his challenge to these laws?
Well, he's working with Randall Callanan, who's a civil rights attorney. Randall actually tried to implement a lawsuit. I want to say it might have been 2017. It was myself, Philip, who's gotten a ticket, and Miss Eileen, who just got her ticket. I think she's in her late 80s, and she just got her first ticket last Wednesday.
Oh,
We
yeah.
tried to file a federal lawsuit against against the city in regards to this, but the judge came back and said that the lawsuit really had no teeth to it because and it's true, we were not being criminalized for serving then. So the good thing about this time is that now that Ben has filed with Randall the federal lawsuit, Ben's obviously gotten a ticket for sharing food, and now we have some teeth to this lawsuit. So we haven't heard of a court date yet for this federal lawsuit. If anything, we're hoping that maybe an injunction could probably take place and cease all of this for a little while, so we don't have to keep building up all these tickets. But so for now, and then Ben is doing this under religious freedom. So we're just waiting for that court date to come up so we can go and support and move forward with this. But in the meantime, the rest of us, including Ben, are still having to deal with this on the municipal side. Now, this isn't an actual district court criminal act, but it's like a speeding ticket. So you still have to go to court. If you don't go to court, a warrant can be issued for your arrest. And then, of course, if you are convicted, you can end up facing a fine of $2,000 per ticket. And if you imagine 21 times 2,000, that's a lot of money.
Oh, my God.
So we do have attorneys that are representing us in our municipal cases as well. And every single one of them to date have been filed as not guilty and trial by jury. So it looks like that this summer, a lot of us will be in the municipal court system trying to fight these tickets.
I really hope you get those trials by jury because it would really elevate the profile of these cases, which needs to happen. Not enough people in major media outlets are talking about this. So, yeah. You don't know yet how much the fees are for any of these tickets. We're still waiting to see, or have people actually been slapped with specific fees?
The city of Houston, they have been sending us notifications for each ticket. If you want to settle the ticket, I think the average is 200. I don't think anybody's received anything more than $254. Now,
Uh-huh.
there was a food sharing group that would come out on Tuesdays. We called them our Tuesday Night Chicken Friends. And we were willing to utilize Randall to represent them on the federal side, and then the other attorneys on the municipal side. This is a group of Muslim individuals that would come every Tuesday. They've been doing it for about 4 years or 5 years now,
Wow.
and serving upwards of 250 people. And so they actually, and this is how sorry the system is. They actually got a ticket the first time, and to go back to the lady with the Muslim woman who did get that ticket, she just the ticket was for 254. She went to court, and the judge ended up bringing it down to $130. So she
Huh.
ended up just paying it and moving on.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, this group has decided to leave the library area. They just said that they wanted just to go out and serve. They didn't want to get into the political aspect of this and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
even while they agreed to move with HPD and the mayor's office, they didn't want to move a particular Tuesday because they knew that the homeless were still going to come to the library where they're used to. They said, okay,
Yeah.
next Tuesday we'll move to another location. And the cops still gave them one ticket.
Oh my
I was just
God.
so
Oh
amazed. I
my
was like, I've
God.
agreed to move, and everything else. And you still, in my eyes, I would have just stayed. I would have been like, okay, look, if I already got 2 tickets for this group now, let's just go ahead and stay here. So, but I understand where their position is and stuff. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
really disheartening to see them get that ticket because they were still going to move anyway.
They're already going to comply with the wishes of the city, and
Right.
still, what is the point then? The point is just to punish these people and make an example of folks
That's,
for helping those in
and that's
need?
just, I was just amazed when I saw that go down. So
God
for
damn.
anybody, also the backstory is they want to move us to an HPD parking lot, which isn't terribly far from where we serve, but it's in
Mm.
front of the municipal courthouse where we'll be going here soon. And a lot of people don't understand the relationship between police officers and the homeless community with
Yeah.
the harassment and
Yeah.
there's so much that goes on that people don't see. So you
Mm.
already have a lot of people that didn't want to go to the parking lot to be served because of that.
Mm-hmm.
People get nervous when they're around cops, period. You have
Yeah.
some cops that are not homeless friendly, nor do they know how to treat the homeless community. So they want us to move to this location over here, and we're taking a stand and saying there was no reason for us to move in the first place. We're at a public space where the homeless largely are, and we want to continue to serve.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have just questioned why we haven't moved, and I think it's important to say that if we just do what city government tells us to do all the time, what's next?
Yeah.
And I've been advised by people who attended the chicken night, now that they've moved to that location, that police have actually taken over their food sharing, so to speak. I mean, the people are still serving the homeless, but the cops are taking over the line, and it's nothing that I would want in a food sharing. We don't need
Yeah.
police officers telling us how to do our jobs out there and stuff. So
Yeah. And kind of as we've addressed on the show in different episodes, like the police are largely there to protect capital, not to
mhm,
protect people. They're there to
right,
police folks that are getting in the way of the interests of capitalists a lot of the time. So,
yeah,
yeah, and having a lot of homeless folks around is not in their interest. So,
right,
yeah, it's very much like expecting folks to feed the homeless right in front of a police, station. Like that is, that you're going to be deterring people from even showing up to eat.
right, and it has done that quite a bit as well. So I'm really sad to hear all of that. And not only, I don't know if you've seen on my Facebook, but what they serve over there versus what we serve. It was heartbreaking when the homeless. That's why they keep coming. So we changed our time. They serve at 7 p.m. over there, and we serve at 7:30. We moved our time to 7:30 because the portions of food that they're getting over there is just very disturbing.
Mm.
I,
Ugh.
just like a spoon that you would eat with, a spoonful of maybe pork and beans, a spoonful of potato salad, and then just this tiny piece of chicken leg. That's it. It's like a bite of each thing and you're done. That's just
Oh my
enough to
God.
aggravate your stomach. You're still going to be hungry after that. So they
Yeah.
come to us, and of course, our portions are large, healthier, and So I try to keep track of what's going on over there versus what we're doing over here to show the world that you can have a food sharing, but the food that they're receiving over there is not. It's not real food,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so I'm glad that they continue to come back to us, and the homeless thank us for taking our stand and continuing to do what we do, which is very
yeah.
important to us.
And you're very right about the need for these like fresh ingredients. Like
Mhm.
folks in poverty have so much trouble accessing that stuff when they're shopping. They're getting their
It's
food from
expensive.
like it's really
Yeah,
expensive. Yeah,
it really is expensive to eat healthy.
yeah, and in a lot of places it's very hard to even access healthy food. So like
Right, right.
yeah, like you're just buying everything from convenience stores and the cheapest options, and you don't. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's so hard, but.
Right, right.
I actually, as a teenager, when I was like 14, I did Food Not Bombs in my town here. And that was the first time I was introduced to the idea that the police are going to show up to harass you for trying to help people.
Hmm.
And that was decades ago now,
Right.
I never got a ticket. The folks in my group never got a ticket, but the police would reliably show up to deter you and tell you to take everything down, break the whole thing up.
Hmm.
And it was just like, it blew my freaking mind. How
Right,
could they be
why?
doing this? Yeah.
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 It's hard to wrap your head around. I don't know how these office, and listen, I know this is coming down from the mayor, and he is the top cop, so to
Yeah.
speak, and
Yeah.
it's coming down the line and stuff. But, you know, for example, for Miss Eileen, who just got that ticket, the lady I mentioned that was in her late
Mm-hmm.
80s, she's been out there for as long as I have.
Oh,
And she makes the best desserts for our friends out there, and she
awesome.
truly cares and everything. But to see them give her that ticket, I'm glad I was not there that night on
Oh my
Wednesday night
God.
because
Yeah.
it just I'm very protective of her, and we've got a couple of
Mm-hmm.
elderly individuals that still come out there, and it broke my heart, and I'm like, this could be your mother or your
Yeah.
grandmother who you're giving a ticket to. And let me tell you, I was told that the cops were so nice to her that night. They were like kissing her butt. They were
Jesus.
just like, I guess they felt bad too, but it was like,
Yeah.
and I get they've got jobs just doing
Yeah.
our job, bull
Yeah.
crap. But it'd be great to see somebody just take a stand and say, you know what, I'm not going to do this to them. This is
Yeah.
wrong. This is very, very wrong. And yeah, so, but I am glad I was not there Wednesday because
Oh
that
my
broke my heart
God.
just to see her get that ticket. And she, so a lot of people need to know that we actually plan who's going to get the ticket before we
Wow.
actually go out there. So
Wow.
that way people are not caught off guard.
Wow.
And certain
So
nights that
she
probably
chose to do
she
that.
chose to take the ticket.
Oh
Her
my
son got
God.
it a week prior to her.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, so we choose ahead of time. And that's why sometimes people like me end up with, so many tickets is because we may not have a person ahead of time who could do it. So then, I have no problem stepping up and taking the ticket, as do others. But they tend to leave us alone on Fridays and Sunday nights. When I asked the officer, I was like, I might be shooting myself in the foot, but if what we're doing is so illegal, why aren't you here on Sundays and I'm sorry, Fridays and Sundays? And it's like, I got to take a break too, Sheree. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll take
Yeah.
it. And hey, look,
That's
so
valid.
two tickets a week. Otherwise, our tickets probably would have been easily in the 40s by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 2 tickets a week. It looks like Mondays and Wednesdays.
Jesus. I mean, the fact that you keep showing up after all of these tickets, you're a
Hmm.
freaking hero.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
am so impressed. And that kind of like attitude to these draconian, horrific laws is exactly what we need. We need more people standing up and doing that because otherwise they're just going to make it more and more illegal to do things that feed the needs of those around us. And
Right.
we can't let that happen. So
Right. Right.
I just want to say like how much I admire you. Like I just even listening to you talk about like wanting to show up and defend someone else who is helping with the same work. Like I almost got a little teary there. I was like, oh, it's
I'm
really
very,
fucking
very
cool.
protective of the group because I
Yeah.
know their hearts. And
Yeah.
that's what's so disturbing about this mayor is had he taken the time to, like I actually just saw my Facebook post from 2017, is back in 2017 about this time that he accused Food Not Bombs of pimping the poor. And he's always made negative
What?
statements about us. And it's like, do you see the food we serve? Do you see the fight? We do serve food, but come winter times, when homeless need warming items or, hygiene packets and stuff like that, we show up. Or when ice is over, we show up at George R. Brown with food, or hurricanes come, we do the same thing.
Wow.
We have been a true asset. And let's be honest here. If I'm hungry and I haven't eaten, or had any food in a couple of days, what am I going to do? Go into a CVS and steal some stuff,
Yeah.
steal some
Yeah.
food of some sort. People get robbed, people make bad decisions when they're hungry. So
Yeah.
he doesn't realize the value of what we do for the community as well. This is why we're feeling it's more of a personal, because we've stood up against him so many times in the years.
Mm.
And that this is, sheerly ego on his part. But we
Wow.
thought the tickets would stop after the final four. But when we engaged the officers, they told us that, no, we're going to keep writing them. And then we had an interview last week, and they spoke to the mayor, and the mayor said he was going to continue moving forward with these tickets. So
Wow.
I don't know what his end game is, but it's sad. But the good thing is
Yeah.
he's turned out, and so at the end of the year, he's going to be gone, and hopefully it ends. We're hoping.
Hell yeah, I really hope so. Knowing that this happens in so many other towns, I mean, I think it's especially extreme here in Houston, but
Mm-hmm.
knowing that feeding the homeless is becoming criminalized in multiple places, like, doesn't give me a lot of hope, though, that they're going to pull back after all of this. And can you talk a little bit about kind of the bigger picture of how this is happening elsewhere? If you don't know enough about that, that's totally fine.
Well, I know that in other cities, especially when our food sharing ordinance went into effect, I saw Dallas, I saw other places. We live in Texas. We don't have the most homeless friendly governor. In fact, he's passing a bunch of laws that are outside of homelessness that are very disturbing just to citizens alone. So I'm not confident in on a state level of any support. Coming by people or changing that. He actually has made it illegal. I'm saying Greg Abbott, our governor, has made it illegal for homeless people to utilize homeless or encampments under bridges. So we've got that. And then in our own city, we have anti-encampment laws that, Mayor Turner passed. He passed a lot of anti-homeless laws while he's been in office. But I do know that in Florida, and I don't know if it was Orlando or Pensacola, is one of those. They actually fought back and went through the Fifth Circuit of Appeals, and they actually won their lawsuit. And so they're able to continue to to feed those that are in need. And Texas being kind of similar to Florida, hopefully we can move forward with our federal lawsuit and see where we get with that. And hopefully, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, this isn't about us looking to make money or cause real problems, but if anything, to get this silly ordinance reversed.
Yeah. And to secure the right to be able to help those in need around you, which is so vitally important, especially when so many people are in dire poverty.
Right. Yeah. And then you think after COVID, a lot of, people who are getting assistance, rental assistance now, that has been lifted, and now we're seeing evictions, in record numbers. So, homelessness is about to start rising even more. And I think we're going to see an uptick probably in the summertime. I'm seeing a lot of new faces. I've got a lot of people that I meet that tell me that they've been brought in from out of town. A lot of younger faces too. So, it's really sad to see, that this is all happening. And then we have a city government that's trying to crack down on merely just trying to feed people,
Yeah. I think a lot of people have trouble identifying with issues like this because they can't imagine themselves ever becoming homeless. But for the vast majority of people in the U.S., a couple disasters, a couple accidents, a couple things going wrong in your life, and you could be the one out there who is not getting enough food and who is relying on groups like Food Not Bombs to be able to survive. I don't know. I think I hope that people can kind of understand that we are all in this together. The vast, the 99% of us are not that far from this. So we need to have that solidarity. Is there anything else in this discussion that I'm missing? Is there anything that we should definitely highlight and make people aware of about what's happening with Food Not Bombs?
Well, a couple of things. One thing I want to address is because in society, people do that stereotype stuff a lot. And I'm really
Yeah.
working hard to try to break down the stereotypes, especially about the homeless community, because I get feedback on some of my videos and they say, why are you feeding them? All they care about is drugs and alcohol. Oh my
Oh,
gosh. That kill, and these are people that probably never set foot to ever do one food sharing ever in life. So,
yeah.
I'm trying to break down those stereotypes. About 95% of the individuals that I work with are not on drugs. They're not
Wow.
alcoholics. Now, but we have this in our own communities. People who have homes, you got your
Yeah.
drugs and your alcoholism that's taking place in home communities. It happens in the homeless community as well. Mental health is a big aspect that this is where I really fight against the mayor because I keep telling them you can get housing for homeless individuals, but if mental health is not treated properly,
Yeah.
then we're going to continue to have a problem. I've seen so many homeless people with mental health issues right back on the street within
Yeah.
6 months of getting housing. And if we're, so I keep telling him mental health needs to be cared for. Case
Mhm.
managers that are handling these humongous caseloads, they don't have enough case managers to help facilitate homeless individuals and kind
Mm.
of, work with them on this. A lot of calls go unanswered and stuff. So, there's so much that could be done from a city level down to a homeless advocate level like myself. And then people in the community supporting that would help us out so much as well.
Yeah.
And Food Not Bombs, they have been really good about speaking up about, because it's not just for us just to go out there, serve food, and then bye, we're gone. See you, and when we come back, we're out there because we truly care. So when the mayor actually pushes anti-homeless laws, Food Not Bombs representative or volunteers will be the first to step up and fight back against this. And again, this is another reason why I love the group so much is because
Mm.
we're out there because we care, compassionate, and we don't believe in the stereotypes with the homeless. And if people were to get involved a little bit more, I think that they would see that as well. That could be a brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle,
Yeah.
and a lot of veterans. So
Mm.
people are
Oh,
going to support the
totally.
veterans, then let's support them fully and understand that they're out there too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That they've sacrificed a lot and their lives are on the line, even here in
yeah,
this country, coming back. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you followed the Stop Cop City movement at all, but Tortuguita, who was shot, I think 57 times by police for trying to defend the forest and trying to
Whoa,
stop Cop City from being built. An innocent activist who was in their hammock with their hands raised when the police stormed the grounds where they're trying to build this huge police training facility in Atlanta. Tortuguita was a huge supporter of Food Not Bombs in Florida and just a total sweetheart in general. Every account I've heard about the work that they did is just glowing and so sweet. And anytime Tort saw someone kind of at the margins of a group, they would reach out to that person and bring them food and invite them in. I actually had the honor of connecting with the good folks at Food Not Bombs in Tallahassee, the same group that Tort volunteered with. And everyone had such wonderful things to say about Tort's character and their contributions to the cause. So I thought I would add at the very end of this episode a statement from one of those members of Food Not Bombs Tallahassee. I thought all of this would be really important to kind of bring into our discussion about the criminalization of efforts to feed the homeless because I wanted to both honor Tort's life, which had an amazing legacy and impact, and because I think it's important to bring up the intersectionality of the struggle to help those living in poverty and the struggle against policing in America, which are two things that people don't typically see as interconnected.
right.
But also, how amazing would it be if part of Tort's legacy could be that they inspire so many other people to stand up for their unhoused neighbors and start joining groups like yours in Houston to help folks in most need all around the country, I mean, and around the world? That would be so beautiful.
Right, right. We need more people like him.
Yeah.
We really, really do. And I
Yeah.
wish that everybody's so robotic these days. It's phones and tablets and computers and heads down and thumbs
Mm-hmm.
going. And we have a real world of stuff going on, outside of homelessness. I mean, you're talking about Cop City and all of that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff going on in the world, and we just need people to put their heads up and pay attention a little bit more,
Yeah.
and if anything, parents, and that's another thing with Food Not Bombs. Like I have 20-year-old twins, and I raised them, with Food Not Bombs, and they come out
Wow.
and they assist now. We've got other
It's
volunteers whose
amazing.
children was raised up, and now, like on Friday night, these teenagers or young men now who are in college come out and do this completely on their own
Oh
without
my
their
God.
parents. And it's so amazing to see when children learn. And that's why we get
Hmm.
offended when the mayor talks about taking the library back and, families and kids and stuff. And what a better way to teach a child of how to be humane. And I think that is so
Yeah.
disconnected these days. As children need to see this more often than just to hide people away and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yes, and to this individual, wow, I had no idea about the 57 shots, and
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it amazes me that you are not only doing this great work on your own, but you are, kind of working with the next generation of people who are going to be
Mhm.
continuing this important work because, God, it's only becoming more and more important every single day. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's beautiful to see. And it's really like, hashtag parenting goals for me. Like if I have kids ever, I really, really want that to be their experience and
Well,
to
and
bring
it
them
falls
into
on
that
us.
world. Yeah.
Yes, it falls on us to teach our children the right way of doing things, not just to, my son was telling me how kids today are born and they are given a cell phone at such a young age and
Yeah.
just electronics, and their minds just go to that. And then before you know it, they have no realization of the reality that's around them.
Yeah.
And it's up to us parents to teach them that, look, this is a very real thing we've got going
Hmm.
on, here. And like I said, criminalization of the homeless has been going around throughout the entire nation, which brings me to
Yeah.
Food Not Bombs Reno. I don't know if
Mm.
you had heard, but a few weeks ago, somebody rammed their vehicle into
Oh,
Food Not
yeah.
Bombs Reno. And I think it was three people who were hurt. Maybe a couple of them were critically injured.
Oh
I
my
don't think
God.
anybody died, but yeah. And to
Jesus.
this day, we still don't know why this individual did it. They said it was not like the person had a medical episode and this was accidental. This was done purposely, but
Jesus
the reasons
Christ.
to why is, so, and it's sad. And, that's something that we have to be mindful because we're serving right there on the streets. And I don't think
Yeah.
anybody in Houston would do it, but hey, crazy things happen all the time. So,
Yeah.
but for just feeding people.
And all of the anti-homeless rhetoric that we're fed all the time from, the news and from politicians and everything, like
Mhm.
there are going to be those individuals out there who just are enraged by the fact that homeless people even fucking exist, which blows my mind and makes me
Right,
so, so upset. But,
right.
yeah, so, I mean, that's another thing to have to worry about, but you are so brave for, showing up, dealing with the cops, dealing with the people that are the haters out there who don't believe in
Mhm.
this work,
Right.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, but I did want to ask you, how can folks support Food Not Bombs Houston?
I don't rip because, like I said, we're hoping that the majority of these tickets or all of them get dismissed, but we don't know. You know, corruption does run in our city, and I'm not saying that that will happen, but we have seen
Yeah.
some corruption happen. Um, if anybody is convicted and has to pay a fine, if anybody wants to support us, they can go to the Food Not Bombs Houston page that is on Facebook, or you could go to Instagram, Food Not Bombs HTX, and find us there. We just finally got our Instagram account a couple of weeks ago. I was like, yay, we're finally getting with the times here. But in that, I think that there's a donate button through Houston Peace and Justice, who is our nonprofit group that we go through in order to gain funding and stuff like that. So if people want to link to that, they're more than welcome to. And then also,
Cool.
because we keep up with, we let everybody know, hey, we got another ticket and things that are just
Mhm.
going on with Food Not Bombs Houston locally.
Uh-huh. Awesome. And I'll add links to that in the episode notes so folks can easily access and
Perfect.
hopefully contribute as well. So, do you have any words for folks who might want to start helping the homeless in their own communities?
So we've got a couple of people that said that they wanted to start Food Not Bombs in their cities or whatnot, and we always tell them make sure that there's not one already established. But all it
Mm-hmm.
really takes is that first step is the hardest one. maybe get with a group of individuals who are just as passionate as maybe the individual might be in serving. Keep it vegetarian. That is across the board, vegetarian style foods. And, just come together, go out in maybe a hot spot where homeless people might reside, and just start your own food sharing from there. It doesn't require any legalities, anything.
Yeah.
Just that first step is the biggest step you'll take. For example, if I want to make Food Not Bombs Sugarland, I could go and do it. I'd probably get harassed by the cops there too. But anyways, yeah, it's just taking that step forward just to build and move forward from there. Not hard to do at all.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. I really want to give folks access and an entry point into this work because it's some of the coolest shit out there. So
yeah, it really, really is. And if anybody, is listening and they're in Houston and they want to come and do this, they can join us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Sunday, again, 7:30 p.m. We're at the corner of Smith and McKinney. Parking is free. So they're welcome just to come out. They don't have to bring anything on their first time. I just want them to come out and kind of see how it is that we do things. It's very, very easy. A lot of people feel intimidated at first because they're like, oh my God. But then once they see, because they think vegetarian food and it has to just be corn or green beans or something, you'd be amazed. We give stuff that has substance. We potatoes, pastas, things like that as well that people can make and bring out there. So they can see that for themselves and see how we do the line and keep it organized and clean up after and then go home. So yeah, they're welcome to join us anytime.
That's amazing. It seems like the folks that do join, you find a community there too. It's not just that you're giving. Family. Yeah.
I say it's like my second home almost because, I am there so much and we are tight, quartered together and support each other personally and also professionally, so to speak, out there. So we've got each other out there.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, Shere, I'm so glad that we got to do this. Yeah, this has been wonderful, and I'm really excited to put this out there and get more folks talking about Food Not Bombs. And if there's anything else that I should include when I release this or anything, you just hit me up and let me know, and
absolutely,
I'll blast it. I'll amplify it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Oh, of course, and cheers to you. You are amazing, and I'm like. Just in awe of your work. So, cheering you on over here.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Erica. This is Robert with Tallahassee Food Not Bombs. I just wanted to send this message in, speak a little bit about Tortuguita, their work with Food Not Bombs, as well as their work up in Atlanta with the Stop Cop City movement, and, how these issues are very intersectional. Food Not Bombs has been around for decades now. They... as a movement, we share plant-based foods, vegetarian and vegan foods to people who are in need, as well as lots of other things that we're able to source, like hygiene products or whatever else we're able to get for people that are needing mutual aid. And we never ask for any type of means tests. We don't ask questions. We'd never ask people to prove that they are in need of help. That's, the antithesis of our mission. We're a mutual aid group. We're there to help, and anybody who needs help is always welcome to reach out to us for help with food or anything else that we're able to help with. Tortuguita was a good friend. I knew them for about 3 years, and we were both active in Food Not Bombs. I was active in Food Not Bombs for about 2 years with them before they went up to Atlanta to defend the Woolani Forest and to fight against Cop City. And I believe that Manny truly understood the intersectionality of these issues. The food insecurity, the people not having enough to eat, people not having places to live, along with the over-militarization of our police and the expansion of the American police state are issues that are very closely intertwined. We know the police are there to protect property. They're not there for us. They're not there for the people. And Tortuguita was very passionate about fighting for those who were oppressed, fighting for those who needed someone to stand by their side in solidarity and fight with them. So Tortuguita went up to Atlanta, went up to defend the forest, camped out in the forest, defending it against the plans to tear it down for this militarized police training facility. And I just, wanted to say thank you for letting me come on here and speak, and much wanted to say that, having all this outpouring of support from all over the world, from all over the country, from so many different organizations is truly inspiring. And I know that it's something that would have truly moved Tortuguita. All the solidarity, all the love, because we can't stop. We can't back down. That's what the powers that be want us to do. That's what the police want us to do. That's what our capitalist masters, would like to see happen, is us just lose hope and for movements to dissolve when this repression happens. But we have to keep on fighting, especially with the murder of Tortuguita. We have to carry on their legacy, and I'm going to continue feeding people. I'm going to continue fighting for what's right. I'm going to continue to defend those that are oppressed, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let the police or Cop City scare me into inaction. And I think that's what we all need to do. We all need to come together in the spirit of Tortuguita, honor their memory. So once again, thank you. Really appreciate you featuring Food Not Bombs and featuring us and having this, moment to feature Tortuguita and, all the work that they did and their memory.